What's going on, everyone? I'm back here with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Sony Handycam FDR AX100 4K camcorder. I actually picked this up off of B&H Photo website for about $1,300 roughly, about $1,400 after taxes and whatnot. I'm also going to put time codes down in the description below. For those of you that want to jump to any particular point within the video. Anyway, so let's go ahead and just open it up here and see what we got. Here is all of the instruction booklet type things. You got an accessory guide thing, setup guide, all that good stuff. Anyway, so that's that. Let's go ahead and now fold this down and see what we got in here. So obviously there's the camera itself, but let's go ahead and start with all the accessories that come with it. So firstly, we have what looks to be part of the power cable. Then this here looks to be this is a USB extension cable. I presume for that built-in cable that's attached to the camera itself. Okay, so this here looks to be the battery. Yep, so this is the battery. And it is a, let's see what the milliamp hours. So it's a 1900 milliamp hour battery, 7.3 volt, 13.8 watt hour. So it's it's kind of the mid-range battery. Anyway, so next up here, it looks like we have the lens hood. So it's kind of cool that this camcorder does include a lens hood to prevent lens flare and stuff like that. Okay, so moving on down here, looks like we have the HDMI cable, which is another super nice thing that is included. But basically, this is an HDMI to micro HDMI cable that allows you to output the camera's video to an HD TV or to an external recorder device such as an Elgato capture card. If you want to live stream via this camera, you can do that as well, which is super nice. Okay, so here is the last piece of the power adapter. So there's where that wire goes in there, and then this end goes into the actual camcorder itself. Okay, something last down in here is this remote control. Alright, so last but not least, let's go ahead and get the big camera out of here. So there is the camcorder. So it is definitely a lot bigger than typical camcorders because of the fact this is, like I said, geared more towards professionals. And so essentially, it gives you a lot of manual control over your video, which is something that is really great, especially if you're trying to do some basic filmmaking and YouTube videos where you need to control the lighting and everything as such. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at what this camera, or video camera rather, offers. So let's go through all the buttons and kind of see what we have here. So firstly, on this side here, we have a manual focusing and or zooming ring, or you can switch this little switch right here on the side to switch over to focus. And then basically that will change this front ring to be manual focus. However, you do have to hit this button down here on the bottom to go into manual focus mode. Okay, so moving down here, we have another little manual control dial, which basically this little dial controls all of these functions over here. So you have to hit this manual button to be able to activate it. So once you hit this manual button, all of the controls for the aperture, the ISO, and shutter speed will be done manually via this little ring here. Over here, we have the HDMI output for that micro cable that I showed earlier. Then we have a headphone jack output, so you can connect a pair of headphones to monitor the audio that is coming into the camcorder. Moving to the back, we have the auto and manual, which basically, again, is another quick switch to go from full auto mode or to full manual mode on the camera, so the camera will not adjust any settings on its own. Okay, and then below that, we have a manual ND filter, which is super nice. You can select it to all the way from 1 to 3, and basically what that's going to do is put ND filter over top of the lens, basically allowing you to better control your exposure when you're out and about shooting video. And then we have our battery door here, our power connection right there, start and stop record, Then we have switching quickly between photo and video modes. So if you want to take a photo real quick, you can press that and switch over to photo mode and start taking pictures with this as well. And then we have the viewfinder, which has a proximity sensor, which basically when you bring your eye up to the viewfinder, that little sensor will turn the screen on. So it doesn't drain battery when you're not looking at it. Moving to this side, we have the grip, which also incorporates the little USB cable that I was talking about earlier that has a USB connection cable basically that is permanently attached to the camera body itself. And when you're not using it, it tucks away in this little strap thing here, which is an interesting design. Like I said, I'm not particularly a fan of that because that could potentially break or get shorted out or fray if you bend it too much. And then you're kind of out of luck with your USB cable. And another thing, it's only USB 2.0, so the connection speeds on this, and transfer speeds rather, are not going to be the greatest because of that. Behind here we have our microphone input for external microphones, and then the second and or multi-use USB, micro USB rather, connector, which is for putting various different types of accessories such as external remote controls, external lighting, various things like that go into here, and then that allows it to be controlled via the camera easily. Okay, and then we have focus magnifier button right there. And then moving to the top, we have a few more things. As you could probably tell already, this camera has a lot of different buttons and controls that you can choose from to be able to get your settings dialed in. But anyway, so we have a dedicated photo taking button. So again, if you want to take photos, you can easily press this button here to snap them. And then we have a nicely sized, really smooth zooming in and out switch. So basically you press it this way to go wide angle and then telephoto the other way. And I really like the design of this because it is a lot more accurate than a typical camcorder zooming little toggle thing. Because this one allows you, well, for one, it's a lot bigger and it just allows more granulated control. And then we have here that hot shoe that I was talking about. But Sony doesn't actually call this a hot shoe. It's, I believe, called a multi-interface connector or multi-interface shoe. I'm not entirely sure on that. But this is basically a proprietary hot shoe type of connection that basically is only to be used with Sony first-party accessories for this camcorder. Now, that is another really frustrating design about this camcorder, is the fact that this hot shoe cannot accept any third-party type of external accessories, such as an external shotgun microphone or an LED light or something like that. Cannot be plugged in there without an adapter. Now, you can go online, which I actually have one on the way, but you can buy an adapter off of Amazon for I think $10 that connects right into there and effectively allows you to then connect any type, standard hot shoe accessory to this camcorder. Then we have the 5.1 channel surround sound microphone. On the front we have our lens element, which does include a lens cap as well, which is really nice. Anyway, there's the lens. It does have optical image stabilization built in, so it will be stabilized when you're hand holding the camera. Which is really nice, and there are two modes to be able to control that. And then another couple things about this particular lens optic is that it is made by Zeiss, which is actually pretty good. They're a pretty decent lens manufacturer. And then the aperture, it is a variable aperture lens because of the fact it zooms. It's basically a super zoom lens built into this, and the aperture basically goes from wide open 2.8 at the widest end of the zoom, and then stops down to a maximum of f4 when you're zoomed all the way out. Alright, moving into the screen now. We have a 3.5-inch high-resolution touchscreen display, which is really nice. And it is LCD technology. I believe it's IPS as well, so it has really good viewing angles, so if you're viewing it off-axis, the image quality or the picture on it will still be pretty clear and not be distorted. Okay, we have a few more controls in here. So we have the speaker, so if you want to play back a video through the camera itself, you can hear the audio via that. And then we have a few more buttons. So we have playback for your picture and video, so you can view them. The info display, if you want to toggle that on and off. Power, white balance adjustment, and night shot, which is really cool. Again, not very many camcorders have this, but basically what Night Shot is it allows you to record video in complete darkness. So you can be in a totally pitch black room or outside with absolutely no light and still be able to record video, albeit it's not the greatest video quality because of course you're doing it in complete darkness. But basically what's happening is it's using right here this little infrared IR blaster to basically shoot out kind of a wide ray of IR light that then the camera itself picks up as viewable light and allows the camera to see in total darkness, which is super cool. And then we have program auto exposure mode there. Then we have my voice reduction. Basically when you press this button, it'll turn on the camera's voice cancellation mode. So if you, the recorder, are talking, it will try its best to remove or lower your voice while recording the video. Alright, so let's go ahead and now compare it to a very similar Sony Handycam camcorder. Basically, one of the primary reasons I got this is I needed two. I needed a second camcorder to have two of them recording at the same time. But basically, this is the one that I've been using for the past couple years now. And actually, this one has been really, really great. The quality of it has been phenomenal. And it's really quite compact and allows a lot of versatility while recording. But for my main camera, I wanted to upgrade to something a little bit better, and that's kind of where this one fit the bill, as well as price-wise, because there is a newer model of the AX100, which I believe is now called the AX700, which is the quote-unquote newest model, but at this time it's now, I think, about 2.5 years old, so it's not technically new. This one fit the bill quite nicely for me. But anyway, here is the size comparison. So you can see they're almost similar in size, but the AX100 is definitely a little bit larger compared to the AX53. If we turn them to the side here, you can kind of see the size difference again. This one is just a little bit bigger and of course has a lot more buttons and controls all over it, whereas this one has much less manual control. Although it does have manual control, it has a little button right here, and then you can adjust various things with this front dial. But unfortunately, every single thing has to be done from that front dial. Whereas this one, you have this ring for focus and zoom, and then a second little dial for all of the aperture and controls and stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting. They both have pop-out viewfinders. The AX100 actually has a much higher resolution viewfinder as well as a screen. So the screen on the AX100 is also much higher resolution than the AX53. So that is another thing to keep in mind as well. And again, from the front here, again, the lenses are very similar. They're both made by Zeiss and are both variable aperture, although the 53 actually has a much longer telephoto zoom. As you can see, this one has a 20 times optical zoom. So this is a lot more versatile when it comes to the zooming compared to this one, the AX100. But what's good about the AX100 is it does not have an internal kind of lens opening where dust and stuff can get inside. Whereas the AX53, you can see this little lens shutter that kind of opens and closes. When that's open, dust and debris could easily get inside of there and kind of damage some of the components, which is not good. Whereas this one, you can see it is just a front glass element and there is no opening to allow dust to kind of creep into, which is really good. Okay, real quick before we end the video, I just want to kind of give you guys a quick look at the kind of user interface and software of the camcorder. So this is the primary screen that you're going to see once you set it up. Right now I currently have the grid lines turned on to kind of help line up the shot, and then I also have it set to have a bunch of various info display things all around the screen to get quick access to. So you have your battery and record time up here, your shooting mode, so if you want to change that to photo, smooth slow record, or GOF shot. And another thing, this does have high speed record at 120 frames per second, slow motion, so you can do that, which is really great. So I have quick access to that from there. And then what's kind of cool is you can see your various different values down at the bottom. So you can see your shutter speed, your ISO, and your aperture, and see kind of what's going on with those three. And then we have the microphone audio kind of over here to show what the audio is doing. Picture and or media playback. Then these three buttons right here are customizable. So currently I have it to recording format, so I can quickly press that and allow me to switch from XAVC-S HD or 4K or the standard AVC HD for the standard format. So I can do that quickly from there. And then the second one here I have, so I can quickly manage the stabilization function. So if I want to turn it on or off or something, I can quickly do that from here. And then the third one I have set for focus peaking, so I can get quick kind of help with the manual focusing, which is kind of nice as well. So quick taking a look at the menus. So we have shooting mode, camera and mic, image quality and size, playback function, which I pretty much never use, edit and copy, which again I never use because all my editing is done after the fact on a computer. And then we have the basic setup, so if you click that you can go through all of the standard camera settings. You can see here, pretty basic stuff. Then shooting mode, like I said, showed before. Then we have camera and mic, which this is where all of your shooting controls will be, and allows you to change various controls from auto to manual. And if we go at the very bottom, this is what you see as my button. This is where you can control, or customize rather, those three little buttons that I just showed. You can change those via this little menu here called My Button. Anyway, so that's that. And then lastly we have image quality and size, and this is where you change your frame rate, your recording resolution, your image resolution if you're going to be taking photos, and you can take photos all the way up to 20 megapixels in size, but that is only able to be done if you are in the photo recording mode. So if we jump over to photo mode, so you press that button there, and if we go back into here, image size, you can see now you have the option of choosing 20 megapixel photos to be taken at a 16:9 aspect ratio. So that's basically it. That's a quick rundown and quick look at the software on this camera. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's kind of turned out to be a somewhat long video, but I kind of wanted to make sure I was detailed as possible for anyone that may be interested in picking this camera up. It's always nice to have as much detail as possible before ordering a camera. Now, if I did happen to miss anything, or if anybody has a question that I may not have been able to answer in this particular video, just leave a comment down below and I'll try to help you guys or answer the question the best as I can. I will also be providing links to basically everything that has been shown in this video, including the camera itself, all the extra batteries, the UV filter, all that good stuff. I will have links to all of that in the description. Basically, with that all being said, hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit the like button as well. It just lets me know that you guys are enjoying my videos. With that all being said, hope you guys have enjoyed once again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.